guys, so today we're going to be making a bralette, and I know a couple of you guys will be kind of like, what's the whole point of a bralette? I don't know, I just think a really detailed back is really cool. It's just one of those things where like you hate to see me go but love to watch me leave, or did I say that correctly? This is the one that I was inspired by. I decided to just do a bandeau type front and then the elastic in the back, so it kind of gives it more of like an edgier, trendier looking kind of bandeau. For those of you who have huge knockers and cannot wear this, you definitely can do two things. You can't either give me some of your boobs, but what you can do is use a thicker elastic. My elastic is fairly thin and they're really narrow, so it'll hold me up just fine because I'm not that busty. But for those of you who are bustier, you can use a thicker elastic and it will hold you up very well. So okay, we're gonna go ahead and get started with the DIY. Okay, so to get started with this DIY, you'll need a piece of fabric that is wide enough to cover up your tatas. Now the fabric I'm using is cotton twill. I talk about fabric just a little bit in my blog if you want to check that out. Now as you can see, I drew in my seam allowances, and the two triangles here is to create darts on the bodice. Now in my blog, I go through the mathematics of this for a perfect fit. If you're not into math and you just want to play around with it, you can try the guessing game if you like. I'm sure it will kind of turn out just fine, but if it turns out ugly, that's totally your fault. Okay, so I went ahead and fold right in the middle of the triangle and I pin along that line. Now you're going to make sure that the line of both sides of that one triangle matches up, so you're going to flip back and forth a lot while you're pinning. So then I sew on those lines and the front of the top will end up looking like this, and this will just help the fabric cup your chest a little bit better if you're using a woven and not a knit. So to relieve some bulk, go ahead and cut off the excess from the triangle. So now you're going to need some elastic straps, and the two longest ones will go from the front of the top all the way to the back. And the four smaller ones are the straps that are going to go across the back. Measurements of the elastic is also on my blog, and it's pretty easy. You measure your back minus 1.5 inches, and that's pretty much it. Okay, so we are going to work with the four smaller strands first. Taking only two of the smaller strands, one will go at the bottom of the bralette and the other one will go at the top. So we are going to start at the top first, and what you'll do is you'll fold in the side seam, and then you will fold in the top seam allowance downwards, and you're going to stick the elastic in that fold and you're going to pin in place. So now you're going to fold the seam allowance along the top of the bandeau, and once you reach the other side, you are going to fold in the side seam and then fold down the seam allowance and then bring the elastic from the other side over and then place it inside of that fold. Now you'll just repeat this to the bottom of the bralette. So go ahead and fold in the side seam, fold the seam allowance up, and place the elastic in that fold. And finish it off by folding the rest of the seam allowance up and pinning along the way. And on the other side, fold the side seam in, fold the seam allowance up, bring the elastic over and place it in the fold and pin. Now you're just going to sew all the way across the top and bottom of the bralette. Okay, so now we're going to take the last two shorter elastics and place it into the side seam of the top and pin the side seam down as you go. And you're going to sew down that side. Now bring the elastic over to the other side, also placing them into the side seam, pinning it down along the fold and then sewing down that side seam as well. Okay, so here's the tricky part, kind of. Take two longer straps and place it right on the dart, extending it about 1/2 inch or so at the bottom. You're going to fold in that extra 1/2 inch and then pin the elastic going all the way upwards. And now you're going to sew up the elastic, stopping right where the bralette stops. Flip it to the back side, and you're going to bring the shoulder straps to the back, letting it touch the very bottom elastics. Now here's the tedious part. Wherever that shoulder strap is intersecting another elastic, you'll make a small stitch there. My tip is to do this by hand just because it can get very frustrating on the machine. So you're going to end up with a total of 8 stitches, and there you have it. You got yourself a nice little bralette that will give you a free tic-tac-toe board for your friends to enjoy when you are tanning. So I hope you guys enjoyed the DIY. Remember, if you want me to take a look at your DIYs of anything that you've done in the past, remember to shoot it to my Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram with the hashtag SLOABN. Also be sure to like this video, support me by subscribing, and I will talk to you guys later. Rock on, DIYers. Bye! Make you look shorter, so just keep the shoes as neutral as possible. Now this look is full of textures and patterns, but you won't know it if you keep one item bright and bold and the other neutral. Now I know y'all will be in your gowns for the ceremony, but afterwards you'll take it off and start taking a ton of